Hello. Today is Thursday, August 27th, 2026. Here is your daily signal. President Trump is preparing to impose a new tariff on Chinese exports, according to Fortune, with sources telling the Associated Press that the proposed rate could reach 7.5%, adding to 10% to 12.5% tariffs announced just last month. Since 2018, the U.S. has repeatedly turned to tariffs in an effort to counter what it calls unfair Chinese trade practices, hitting sectors such as steel, electronics, and textiles, often with rates as high as 25%. The latest trade truce aimed to reduce escalating tensions but left many tariffs in place, even as Chinese exports to the U.S. topped $500 billion in 2025. Key figures in this standoff include President Donald Trump, personally weighing these new policies, and President Xi Jinping, a crucial diplomatic counterpart. On August 24th, President Trump considered the new 7.5% tariff specifically to penalize China for underpriced goods, while trying not to jeopardize the trade truce or a possible summit with President Xi. For U.S. importers, higher duties will quickly translate to rising costs and likely price hikes for consumers. In the near term, China may retaliate with its own restrictions, perhaps hitting American agricultural or technology exports. In the medium term, these tit-for-tat measures threaten to delay multilateral talks, further disrupt supply chains, and drag on economic growth for both economies. Russia's banking sector is suffering from mounting strain as a slow-motion bank run continues, Fortune reports, threatening the Kremlin's ability to maintain war funding amid heightened geopolitical tensions. This crisis began with large-scale deposit outflows in early 2026, linked directly to a spike in government spending on military operations. Russian banks now face severe liquidity pressure as citizens pull their savings, shaking not just the financial sector but the broader economy. The Kremlin, seeking to cover ballooning war costs, is reportedly even considering drastic conscription measures. As of August 23, Russian banks are reporting persistent withdrawals that threaten insolvency, placing not just depositors, but domestic and foreign investors at risk. In the immediate term, the government may be forced to freeze assets or restrict account access. If withdrawals persist, major lenders could collapse. Over the medium term, Russia's ability to fund its military campaign could be crimped, raising the likelihood of public unrest and further economic contraction across sectors ranging from banking to energy. A recent orbital test of the IVO quantum drive has sparked renewed debate, with Next Big Future highlighting the ambiguity surrounding whether the much-anticipated device actually generated a measurable thrust signal in space. The IVO quantum drive, developed by IVO Limited and based on the quantized inertia hypothesis of Dr. Mike McCulloch, has previously prompted excitement with hints of anomalous thrust in lab conditions leading to this high-profile orbital demonstration in August 2026. Dr. McCulloch, who personally reviewed the test, reported that while the device did register a thrust signal, its scientific validity remains unresolved and the data is being scrutinized closely by the scientific community. The implications, if confirmed, would be profound. A propellantless drive could revolutionize satellite and probe propulsion, opening the door to cheaper and more frequent space missions. However, ongoing ambiguity will likely spur more testing and delay major research investment, while a null result could reinforce skepticism and slow future funding for alternative propulsion concepts. Next, we'll continue with updates as new data emerges from science and industry. Now, onto the markets. International stocks were mixed, with Taiwan's EWT surging more than 21% on the day and China large caps FXI falling nearly 1%. France's EWQ declined by over 1.6%, making it one of the weaker performers, while Japan's EWJ posted a slight gain. In commodities, silver led the way with an 1.8% daily gain, while uranium also rallied over 1%. Agriculture ended higher on broad-based strength, as the DBA ETF advanced nearly 1%. Among favorites, Nvidia soared more than 9%, standing out as the top gainer, while AMD slipped by more than 1%. Microsoft also advanced, gaining over 1.7% and continuing its strong momentum. In the S&P 500, tracked by SPY, the broad index climbed 0.75% and semiconductors outperformed with stocks up 1.4%. For individual names, Inc. was today's top gainer, skyrocketing over 80,000%, while SMJF was the top loser, tumbling 87%. That's it for today. You can find more news and details on our website. Goodbye.